it very much depends on like where these people are, you know? It's like
Hmm.
before I moved to Atlanta, like I thought I was really good, right? And it's like at the end of the day, like I was probably like a Pittsburgh 7, you know, on a good day. And then I get to Atlanta and then like, you know, I'm working with like Lee and I'm like, man, I kind of suck. I kind of suck a lot, you know? And it's insane like how much better you get just from working with other people. So if you don't have
Mhm.
like a
Yeah.
ton of outside sources, like if you're in the middle of nowhere, Idaho, and like you don't come from like a musical family or like you don't have friends that
Hmm.
are in it and like you don't know what to do, like yeah, like you need some form of context, you know, because like if you're just searching through like Google results or YouTube, like a lot of it is just, you know, oh, do this, do that, or like my uncle says that you should do this, and it's like it's never like that. You know, it's never like that.
It's interesting. I'm still laughing. Pittsburgh 7. You could be a Pittsburgh 8. You
Thanks,
could be
man.
good. It's like
Thanks, man.
you can get that up.
Yeah, no, you didn't hear my mixes from 2 years ago, but you know.
My thought is we had a group listening session, and one of them said, what chord did you choose? And I said, well, it was it was a minor chord. Our chorus started, and he goes, why did you start your chorus on a minor chord? I heard minor chords are bad for choruses. And I was like, who said that? And I was like, well, what's the emotional tone that you're trying to go for, and what's the lyrical content, and what is the purpose of the song? And he was like, oh, I didn't think of that. He was just going off of hearsay, what somebody said. One on one, you can really dive into
Yeah.
intention and framework and what are you trying to do and the types of songs. And it was just interesting. I was like, it's not the rule for all choruses.
Yeah, yeah,
Not
yeah.
every single chorus has to be a major chord. You can still start on a minor chord. It's
Yeah,
okay.
like you're allowed. That's like kind of the cool thing about music. You could do whatever you want, you know. And dude, I
Start on a
just
weird two minor
watched.
if you want to.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. I just watched. There's an Apple Music interview with Zane Lowe and Jack Antonoff,
Oh,
and
that's probably good.
no, like everybody needs to watch it because, like,
Okay.
first of all, it's incredible. Second of all, Jack Antonoff 100% has that dog in him, and it was so cool seeing like the biggest producer in the world right now and
Mm-hmm.
how little he cares about everything other than the art, you know? Because
Yeah.
I feel like so many people like come up and they're like, well, I wrote this song like this because Max Martin wrote a song and it went like this. So I use that to make this. And hearing him talk about how he makes music, he's like, I love working in New York and I love this space that I built and I love how private it is because everybody can
Mm-hmm.
come here and feel like they could create freely. And
Mm.
for a while I wasn't his biggest fan because I was like, why'd he do that? That's weird. Why'd he do that? That's
Yeah.
weird. But now I understand that like those choices are ultimately like what make him different and what allow his artists to feel like they're fulfilling, you know, their creative endeavors. And
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's so important to like really get in tune with like what are you trying to say, you
for
know?
sure. I think whether you love it or hate it, you can also kind of start picking out Jack. And once you hear a Jack Antonoff like thing, you can
Mm-hmm.
like start hearing some of his proclivities.
Yeah.
Like what, and like you said, whether you like it or hate it, but it is different, and
Yeah.
it does set him apart in a sense that people tend to like.
What I will say is the latest Bleachers album is so good. It's
It
like,
is really good. I've just
oh
listened.
my
I know what
god,
you're talking.
it is so
Yeah.
good.
I,
Um,
yeah. What's interesting is you said, as he's talking about his space, it's like, oh, he was able to create something that allowed the artist and the songwriter to feel comfortable, to be in a space that is vulnerable, to be themselves, to allow the best thing to pour out. That to me is an art, to create a space that
Hmm.
allows that for
yeah,
different people and different type, no matter what.
Yeah,
And then your expertise comes in to guide where it needs to go, but you allow them to get there.
that's
Where
why.
everybody tries to control sometimes. It's got to look like this. Or it's like,
yeah,
as you
yeah,
said, I wrote this Max Martin song because Max Martin does it. It's like, yeah, but you're not Max Martin. You're, Dwayne from Kansas City. Dwayne, come on. It's like, what's Dwayne from
yeah,
Kansas City sound like?
Yeah,
yeah.
Use the framework, but then
Let it
create the
speak to
thing.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let
yeah.
it be you. Where's
And
you?
what's crazy is like I don't know. I love learning about like you know whatever producer that I'm a huge fan of at the moment, you know, because
Yeah.
everybody's story is different, and it's cool like hearing, you know, all the different cool pieces of wisdom that they may or may not have. But what's wild is most like super successful creatives in music all basically have like the same thought process where it's like, oh yeah, I just wanted to make something sick, or like I just wanted to make something that, you know, or
Bangs or
make a
whatever.
place where like people can just be
Yeah.
free and make
Mm-hmm.
fun things, because like ultimately the only way that you could have songs connect, especially if it's like super super formulaic pop music, is if the feeling gets through, you know. It's like Serban charges what, how much per mix, and he gets so many mixes a year, not because he's the best. There's so many small mixers who are probably a lot better than Serban that we will never hear of. We hear all these songs from him simply because he mixes with feel in mind. And he makes sure that the producer and the artist's intention gets through, and because he has such a proven track record, the mix gets cleared. And it's like as simple as that.
I love that we've used the word, because I say this word a ton too, feel.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just like where people are always like, what do you mean feel? It's just like, I wrote this, and it's just like, yeah, I know, but I don't feel like this would work. And I think my feel is even heightened because like a whole bunch of licensing is all about feel,
It's all
because it's
feel.
happened to picture,
It's
because either
100% feel.
and it's the most confusing thing too for people that may have a quality song that's really good,
Yeah.
but it doesn't work for the scene because it
Mhm.
feels off. And when you
Yeah.
say that word, it feels like it doesn't work, or I don't feel this. They go like, it's a head scratcher. And I know I felt the same way where I was
Sure.
like, what do you mean? I looked at everything and nothing's peaking and it's
Yeah.
laid out correctly. And it's like, yeah, but it doesn't feel like it's the kind of sad that makes me want to put the covers over my head
Yeah.
and not
Mhm.
hurt myself, but just kind of cry myself to sleep. That's what this scene is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Mike
What
Dean. Somebody
the?
somebody asked Mike Dean about after Astroworld came out. He was like, they were like, "Are you aware that like it's clipping?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, I know. Whenever it clips, it feels sick, right?"